So far you have created few tables. Now tables are, if I define, tables are part of database. Okay, a table is a part of a database. So in a particular application, you might have multiple tables in the database. It will have a one database, or it might have multiple database, but in every database there will be multiple tables. Okay, there will be multiple tables. Now okay, to bring this table, I'll have to bring, give me 1 second so that I can explain. This one is not able to start, so I'll have to go to services. Okay, so I'm bringing something to display here. Okay. So to describe that, let me quickly bring something. This, yeah, this one. I'll have to stop. And then only I can bring this service up. Okay, and then I can go there and I can recall this. Okay, now if you take a look, can you see that I have, so when you see a website, a Wells Fargo website, or your personal e-commerce website, or any website, right? When you see it is displaying different data, basically it is reading data from a source like this. It has database. Let's say I have this database. This is a database. In that database I have this two table here. Can you see? I have this database, each of these is a database. So if you take a look in this particular database, backend testing, can you see test table? If you see inside the database, this is a table, I can have multiple tables, and in that database, as you can see that if you go to structure of that table, right, I'm going to the structure of the table, you will see that name is number, int. Like we have MySQL database, we have SQL database, we have Oracle database, right? So in different database type, in some database it will be instead of integer it will be number. In some database instead of varchar it will be varchar 2. This is a MySQL database, and in this database the data types, see these are the data types. For stud id data type is integer, for stud name data type is varchar, and for stud dob data type is varchar again. Okay, and how does the data look like? If you go to browse, this is the structure of the table, and this is the actual data. Can you see in stud id we are storing number, in stud name we are storing alphanumeric, and in stud dob we are storing alphanumeric. So database, right? Every web application where they are using dynamic data will have database like this. A website can have multiple database. In the database, inside the database, you might have multiple tables. Inside the database, you might have multiple tables. Each of the table will contain the data for the website. Okay, each of the table will be containing the data for the website. For example, this table is containing data, and this data, can you see Javed, Abu Mansur, right? All of this data, right? How many field we have altogether? We have, let's say, one. How many record? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 record. We have 6 records. In each of the record, how many field do I have? Stud id field, stud name field, stud dob field. Now you understand what is database record. Database record is each of the entry. And what is database field? Field is in each of the record we might have multiple database field. Okay, now this data, if you come here, I have a sample website that displays this data. So let's say that if you go to local host, we have a backend application. If you bring that backend application, can you see this data? What website does? Website reads the data from the database and present the data, massage the data, and present it in a better way, so that data will be very scattered in the database. Will not be in most data will not be understandable by the general users, right? You make application, you make website for your users. User will be using your application. Now you have to massage the data, you have to present the data in a way so that it is attractive to the users, in a way so that user can easily understand your data, right? So that is why we read data from database. Like this front end that you are seeing here, it doesn't have any capability to store data in the front end, in the website. So only thing the front end can use to store data, they use database. And in the database, data is kind of a little bit scattered, not that much understandable, but we store data, and the programmers write program to read data from the database and display in the website, right? Whatever data you are seeing in this database, we are displaying this data in this front end. We are massaging this data. Basically here there is no processing, we are displaying that as it is, but in a real application it will be presented in better way. This is a basic thing that I'm displaying. So what is the purpose of database, right? The database, as a tester, the websites, those we are going to test, those websites will be reading data from the database, right? Now while reading data from the database, the data is coming, the primary source of the data is coming from the database and is being displayed in the website, but we have to make sure that the data that we are seeing here in the front end is matching with the back end, Okay, so let's say that in this database, if you add another field, age, right, age, then age will be counted from the birth date to today's date, right? There will be a mathematical calculation. So let's say that when you display the age here, you have to make sure that it is properly displayed. So here you have to make sure that the data that we have in the database is matching with the data that we have in the front end. So the type of testing that you do to make sure that the data displayed in the back end is matching with the data in the front end, that type of testing we are calling it as a back end testing. Okay, so if I ask you, can anyone define what is backend testing? How will you define it? Uh-huh. To make sure that the front end data is matching with the backend, that is what we are calling backend testing, right? Now, in backend testing, we make sure basically that the data that we have in the backend or database is matching with the front end. Okay, that is what we are calling back-end testing. Besides the other type of testing that we have learned, regression testing, functional testing, destructive testing, right, interface testing, unit testing, right, all of the testing we have learned. On top of that, there is another, we have learned compatibility testing, and on top of that, another type of testing that we are learning today is back-end testing. In back-end testing, we make sure that the data that website is displaying is matching with the data that we have in the database. Now, so as you can see in the database, if you look at the structure of the table and you understand backend testing, this is a database, and under this database there could be multiple tables. Multiple tables. Let's say the test is a database. Under test, I can have multiple tables. Let's say that piece be my admin is a database. Under that, I have so many tables, right? So in each of the table, the data, we will store different type of data, including number, including alphanumeric, including picture, including all of, like we can store picture, even picture in the database. Okay, so for each of these different data types, we know for numeric data we use in Oracle, we use number type data type, right? For numeric data in Oracle, we use number data type. For alphanumeric data, we use varchar too. In this particular MySQL, it is varchar, only varchar. For date data type, we use date. So these are the three basic data type that we have learned. If you look at this Oracle soft copy, right, we have learned, we have used varchar 2, we have used number, we didn't use date, but there is another data type called date. So we have defined what is RDBMS, Relational Database Management System here. We have defined what is SQL, Structured Query Language. Okay, in the previous class, we have discussed what is data definition language, data definition, all of the create table, drop table, alter table, truncate, all of these are data definition language. Data manipulation language is when you use select, insert, delete, update, all of these are data manipulation. And transaction control commands, commit, rollback, save point, we have discussed in our previous. So it is important you know what data definition language, what data manipulation language, and what is transaction control commands. Okay, it is important. Then how to create a table? We already have learned how to create a table. Create table, you put the column name and data type. Put comma. If you have multiple column, you put column name, data type. We already have learned this. Okay, how to drop table? You use drop table and then table name. The table will be dropped. Okay, so create table. Let's say that if you create a friend table, you say name, friend name, and name is varchar 2, and we want to give 40 characters for name, so that's why we put 40. And telephone, again, telephone will have dashes or spaces. So again, besides number, it will have some other characters. So that's why we put Barcher 2 and we put 16 digit. And after your create command, can you see this data type and table column name and data type is enclosed in a parenthesis, and at the end we have a semicolon. Okay. And when you have created a table, how do you see the description of the table? If you say describe, right, describe friends, you will be able to see the description of the table. DESC friends, then you'll be able to see the description of the table. Okay. Data definition language, right? When you drop table friends is a data definition language. Okay, data definition language. Alter, modify, all of this, like table, you create table and then you insert data in it. For creating table, it is data definition language. Create table, something like this. Drop table, it is data definition language. Okay. For modifying the structure of the table is data definition language. The structure of the table. But data, when you insert data, let's say insert, right? You use to insert data into the table. When the structure is created, then you can insert data. That is what we are calling data manipulation language. Insert, update. When you work with the data, that is what is data manipulation language. Data definition is to create the structure, to change the structure of the table. That is what we are calling data definition language. So if you follow these documents, right, can you see alter table friends? Here you are altering the structure of the table. You are adding another column, address, and saying varchar 260. So here you are changing the structure of the table. This is a what kind of statement? This one? Will it be DDL or DML? Guys, can you help me? When you are changing the structure of the table by alter table friends, will it be a DDL or DML? I want to hear an answer from you. If you are not clear, speak up. I can explain one more time.
DML.
It will be a DML. Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. When we're changing the data?
When you are changing the data, it is DML, data manipulation. When you are changing the structure of the table,
Gotcha. That's DDL.
DDL, because when you are adding a new column to the table, right, you are making spaces where you can store data. So that will be a DDL, data definition language. So let's say alter table.
Data. When you look at the data.
When we are changing the data, okay, then it is data manipulation language. Data manipulation.
I'm sorry. So the when you change the structure is the columns, right?
Yep.
So the contents of the data is that's like what's in the rows, that's DML.
Yep.
And then what's in the columns is DDL.
DDL, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's okay.
Now look here. Alter table friends, modify telephone, and we are saying previously we said it is 16. Now we are saying okay, now actually we need higher number for telephone field. What will be this command? Will it be DDL or DML?
DML.
How about Omit? Will it be DDL or DML? Okay, how about Sharmin? How about Iqbal?
Go for DML2.
DML2, okay. Unfortunately, I'll have to disagree with you. Okay, can you, if you look at it, alter table friends, modify telephone field instead of, can you see, instead of previously the telephone field was previously, let me show you. Previously, the telephone field was butchered to 16. We gave 16 length. Now we are saying, okay, 16 is not enough. Make it 20. That means you are changing the structure of the table, not the data. Okay, so that will be a DDL. DML, that will be a DDL. Like, okay, how many characters you can save, right? Instead of 16, you are saying, okay, no, no, no. Actually, you can save 20. You are changing the structure of the table. You are changing how many, how big is your content. That is DDL. Okay, got it?
Okay, I see that. Can you give a different example, please? Okay.
Okay,
And test us.
okay, sure, we'll do. If you come here, we'll be giving more example. Let's say that create table employee. Go ahead.
So when we are creating the table, and for instance, can you scroll up a little?
Mhm.
So here for telephone number, it said 20. So if this is altering,
Mhm.
when we're creating the table, it won't be altering, or would it be manipulating data?
So when we are creating the table, we are basically we are creating the structure.
Okay, so DML would be when you're, I guess, entering the phone number rather than.
Let's say that in a table you have input a phone number. Let's say my phone number 404-936-3567, and then my phone number last two digit is changed. Or let's say that, um, to make it more relative, let's say that, um, you have what is called, let's say, I'm thinking a change, right? If you consider change, it could be what change, like let's say that not the whole thing change, sometimes partially, in our day-to-day activities something change partially. I can say that partially. Okay, so let's say that your telephone number is 404-936-9520, and then you have changed your carrier from Verizon to AT&T. There, your number 404-936, instead of 9520, they gave you 1234. So last four digit changed.
I
So
think your screen froze, or
no, I'm not.
sure.
I'm
No,
not.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No.
Okay.
Never mind. Never mind. Sorry.
I'm giving you an example, real life example. Let's say your phone number. Let me bring a notepad. In with Verizon, your phone number is this 404-936-9520. When you have changed to AT&T, right? They have changed your phone number to 404-936 and 1234. Okay, so what let's say you have a database where you have this phone number stored. So what you will have to do is, just instead of 9520, if they update 1234, that will be enough, right? Okay, then let's say that if you, let's say, in the table, phone number means how many digit you can store in that? 1 2 3 4 7 8 and then 12 digit. So your phone number field is 12 digit. Let's say for some reason when you transfer to the new carrier, your digit increased by 2, for example, then the table that was previously created, the telephone number field has only 12 digit. Now your telephone number is 2 more digit. Then can you store this telephone number in that field, in that table? No, you have to change. Besides changing your phone number, they will have to change the structure of the table. They will have to make this telephone number field bigger, right? So that it can store 14-digit telephone number. So let's say that when you are changing just the number in the table, this is data manipulation. Data manipulation, you are changing only data. But if your telephone number gets bigger, then to store this bigger number, they have to change the structure of the table. That is what we are calling DDL.
Okay. If you have like say like you're changing like your company and you're changing a large sum, meaning like thousands of data. Is there like a simple program that can do that, or do you have to manually change it all in terms of?
You have to write query to change it.
Is it like can like say like would you have to write a query per table, or is it something say like there's like thousands of tables? Would you have to write a query for each table, or? Like,
yeah, for if you have to change in 1,000 table, you'll have to write queries for each of the table, but you can execute them all together. So to explain more, we have a friend table. Okay, now can you see in my friend table? In my friend table, I have these friends, right? Okay, so if you describe this friend table, so what is your telephone field, or let's say what is the size of your email field? 20, right? This is the structure of the table. So let's say that I want to insert another friend in that table. So what will be my command? Insert into friend. For inserting, you put the column name here. So what are the column name? Friend name, and then friend address, and then friend phone, and then friend email, right?
Looks like you spelled friend phone wrong.
Friend phone wrong.
Yeah, it's friend. You put friend phone.
Oh.
You
yeah. So it will be I'll have to edit it, but so yeah, okay. So let me go up. Let me friend phone, right? And then you come to the next line, okay? Then you put your values, okay? Then you come here, put your semicolon. Now, friend phone, friend name. Since it is a varchar 2, you'll have to put it in the quotation. Say that he is my new friend's name is John, and then I have my address, his address, right? So I'll say fifth main, uh, fifth main, actually Parkway instead of, and then his number. Let's say that phone number is 4 and then 55 and then 66. Okay, and then his email address is um, say that joy 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, right? And then at yahoo.com. Okay, now if you say enter, what do you see?
The maximum number, the maximum characters that the data could hold is 12, and you have the 13.
Which one? Friend address?
Friend email.
Friend email. So it is complaining about uh, two things. Number one, value toolers. Can you see? For column system friend dot friend address, can you see for friend address we can store maximum how many characters? Friend address, friend address.
Oh, I'm sorry, 12.
12. And what as an address we have input fifth main Parkway. How many characters we have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So how much we can store maximum?
13.
How much I can store maximum?
Oh, sorry, 12.
12. How many I am inputting? 13. So we cannot change his address, right? His address is main Parkway. We cannot change his address. Like government will not change this street name so that it will be fitting in our table. Will government change it? No. We have to change our table structure. We have to make this field bigger. Does it make sense? Okay. So when you are inserting data, when you are trying to inserting data, these are data manipulation language. Data manipulation language in terms of like you are trying to insert data into a table. You got it? But while we are trying to use data manipulation language, it seems like it is the table is not taking. We have to change the structure of the table. One of the field fifth main Parkway is bigger. We can store only maximum 12 characters in this field. You can see here friend address, we can maximum input how many characters? 12. But we our data is 13 character, so we have to change the structure of the table. Do you understand this? Okay, how do you change the structure of the table? So you have to use alter. Remember that in the document we have the statement. Can you see alter table, friend, and modify? Can you see alter table, and you have to give the table name and modify word. So you go there, alter table, friend, and modify. What field we are going to modify? We are going to modify the friend address. Friend address. We are going to archer 2, and then what will be the new size actually? For
13.
to remain in the safe side, I'll be putting 15, or you can say 30. It doesn't matter. So you do this, and now you say, now the table altered. It is saying that table altered. Previously the container was designed in a way it can contain only 12 things. Now the container is changed. We can now store how many? We can store 13 characters on it. on this container.
So
Now,
question real
now,
quick for
now can
this.
you see we have changed the structure of the table. Instead of data, we have changed the structure of the table. Now, if you bring your other statement, insert, right? And then, now if you enter, now it is complaining about another field. Now, can you see it is not complaining about friend address. Now it is complaining about friend email. So what is the problem with friend email? We can maximum store 20 characters. But how many characters we are putting? 24. So you'll have to change that structure as well. We are going to change same way. Okay, we are going to bring this what is called that alter table friend, modify email address, right? How have we written the email address? If we go a little bit up, friend underscore email. Currently it is 20. How long is our 24, right? So we will say friend underscore email, friend underscore email, and then it is varchar. Instead of 20, it will be 4, right?
How come it didn't give you that same error message for friend email on the previous
Previous,
command?
it gives like it compile one by one. So when got the first error, it said first error. It didn't go for the remaining.
Okay.
Okay. Now you go for your previous statement, insert into friend, right? And then and go to the next line, press. Okay. Now you say, can you see one row created? So so this is data manipulation language where you insert data, and this is data definition language where you change the structure of the table, where you change the size of the container. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Also, so considering that each data type, right, could be up to, is it like 30 characters or so, or
It can be something else. It can be some of the email might be 50 characters.
so why not just play it safe and for the future and just when you initially create the table, just say email will be 100 characters, and student number or like a certain number would be 60 characters or something like that. What's preventing them from doing that? So like you won't have to, essentially, when a data set gets larger, you won't have to come back and change everything.
Okay, okay. In real life, when you work in a project, you will be definitely you will be it will be a good thought. Yeah, you will be doing it. But the black screen that we are using here, it has a problem if you do that. So let's say that friend address, right? If you go there, that alter table, right? That friend address instead of 13, let's say you are assuming friend address could be 130 characters length. Okay, let's say you did this. Okay, so the problem sometimes it will, if you have that big data, right, then your let me ask you. Can you see now the problem here? Friend address, it has messed up our view. Friend address, can you see when I'm saying select star from friend? Can you see the data in tabular format?
No, not
No,
anymore.
it is messed up because you have given it too much big here. This view has a problem. In real life, you will be viewing graphical format. Like, can you see here? We are seeing data. It will be a problem here. It will be able to adjust. It is responsive, but black screen that we are using here, command prompt, it is not that responsive. It will up your view. So that's why I'm not becoming very rational in making my. Does it make?
That makes a lot of sense. And like also, so um, Although the different database language types like SQL plus and MySQL, although they might call the different data types by a different name, like
Different
for
name.
example, like Vector versus Vector 2, will the command still be the same? Such as,
Yeah, same command.
table?
Command
Okay.
will be same. It could be a little bit here and there, but all of the commands are online, available online. If you type, okay, let's say that you know Oracle, right? If you type, okay, create table statement in MySQL. Okay, if you type this, you will get hundreds of thousands of help where you will be able to copy the statement. You got it?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So if you know one language, there are hundreds of help available online. You will be able to translate to another one.
Okay. I just have this concern that it's going to be a huge table and
huge table. If you like
yeah.
normally like if you have to use Oracle for a project, typically it will not change it. You will not have to convert it to another language. If you are doing a project using MySQL, the project might be remaining in MySQL for its lifetime. Okay, so if you know multiple languages, it is better. If you do not know, no issue, you will be able to.
Is there certain languages that that you will there be certain projects that require you to learn a whole different language? Yeah.
No, it's like this. As a tester, the DBA who works as a database administrator, they will be doing all kind of altering. As a tester, you do not have to create any table.
God. Yeah, God.
You will only be executing select statement. You will be writing big queries to bring data from the table. You will not be changing the structure of the table. Does it make sense?
Yes.
We do not, when they give us access to the database, they give us read-only access. Read-only access means we cannot change the structure of the table. We cannot change the data of the table. We will be able to write query to bring the data. We will not be able to change anything in the table. You got it? Does it make sense? So let me, can you see how if you make it too much bigger in the command prompt, how it impact us? So I'm going to move to the previous structure of the table. Now if you bring the data, can you see the data is now tabular format? Good. Right? Is it make sense? Like why you do not become so much realistic here? We do not become so much rational because the view of the because of the view problem. Okay, does it make sense? Okay, so let's say that if you type here SQL and then there is application manager SQL. I'm trying to see if it comes with. Let me go there and let me see all programs.
What's the main reason why the Oracle download size is so big? Because it looks like we're sort of only using SQL, right? It shouldn't be that big, right? Or is there like more to it?
What is the question? Can you repeat the question?
Is the size of the SQL program for Oracle, is that the thing that's almost 2 gigabytes?
So yeah, it is a file that you download from internet, and this is the whole besides this black screen. Besides this black screen, it has something else. I'll show you. The black screen is a part of this, and on top of that there are some other thing. Let me show you this. So if you look at, right, you will see that MNO, go to Oracle. Can you see Oracle DB, right? You click here. Besides this black screen, it comes with a other interface as well. I'll show you. Give me 1 second.
shouldn't all these things be for sale instead of just for free, or is this just for training purposes?
This is Oracle.
Essential.
Oracle is expensive. You have to basically, this is express version is for training purposes.
Gotcha. Okay. And then,
Okay.
is there like a competition now that's better, or is people mainly using Oracle because
Oracle,
it's like
in terms of database, Oracle is better. It has a lot of support things like Oracle and SQL. Both of these are popular. I'm trying to see like the web UI. Give me 1 second. Oracle and instance manager. Oracle provider for readme SQL plus Oracle. Excuse me, guys. Okay. So they are cooking. So
who's cooking? I like food.
yeah, they're cooking food. Yeah.
Oh man.
Smell good.
Yeah, it smell good. Spice, right? Okay. Database configuration assistant. To see where is that database update assistant, local builder, configuration, net manager, Oracle instance manager, Oracle provider, readme to update password, wallet manager. Yeah, I'm trying to see which one is that interface that we can use. Like you see that the other SQL we are using, it is graphical, you can view everything easily. Oracle has like, if you pay, the paid version comes with that other what is called that graphical view.
Yeah. I heard that like Oracle, like just they treat their customers pretty badly.
Not that good, yeah.
It's like yeah, it's just and it's because they sort of know that to change their whole database system, it's not impossible, but it's it's going to cost a lot of money. So you're sort of almost stuck with it.
Customer service wise, yeah, there are a few things. Not that much easy with Oracle. Yeah, that is true. So I think we do not have this here, but Oracle has a view, right, like this, that you can use like this, uh, which will basically will be able to use the interface, right? So let's say that in this one, if you go to SQL, you can say, can you see select star command will be there, select star from test table, where you can say that stood is it field, what is that, stood ID, right? Stood ID equal to 111, right? And then you say there is a go button here, right? You say go. Okay, then stood ID, stood name, stood DOB, right? You will see that there is a issue with the query, unknown column stood ID. So what is the column? Stood underscore ID. So let's say if you change it, stood underscore ID, right? And then if you click on go, right? Can you see now? And now it is complaining about first of all, where stood ID. Oh, actually I made a mistake here again. The stood underscore ID, right? Now if you say go, okay, now can you see that it is bringing all the information for stood ID 111? So it has in the other, yeah, in the other one as well, right? You can use graphical format, and then you will not have that view issue that we are having here. Okay, now
Is there a way? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
you go ahead with your question, please.
No, I was wondering if there's a way. Is there a way that you can show us like a practical version of this where, possibly with your job or something, where it's,
Actually, I cannot bring anything from job. So whatever I'm bringing, yeah, up to that I can show.
okay.
And practical wise, like I'm showing you this, as you can see here, right? That we have a table and this data is being pulled from the table and we are showing this data here. Okay. Now let's go back to that black screen, our favorite black screen. Okay. Let's say that. Let's say that now this data, Mr. This email address, let's say we made a mistake. The email address doesn't have Mr. It is only joy123456789 at yahoo.com. So we have to change, right? We have to change the data of the table, not the structure. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So for that we will be using DML. DML to we are not changing the structure of the table. Instead, we are changing the data of the table. So what will be the command? Again, you will get that command from our document here.
Do select.
No, not select. If you want to change the data of the table, we are going to change the data. Yeah, update. Okay. You will see that we have update statement, example of update statement here. Okay, I'm trying to find the update statement. So this document is important. You go through, you will get all kind of comments here. Okay, can you see? Update and then table name and then set and then field name and then data and then you have to give where name equal to something. Okay. So if you go there in the black screen, update employee, okay, set friend email, friend underscore email equal to, what is the new email? The new email is joy so so if it is inside the quotation, it matters. If it is outside of quotation, it doesn't matter. So let's say that, can you see that friend email is uppercase here? I'm using lowercase. If it is, it is not in the quotation. This is the column header. This doesn't matter, but your actual data is in the quotation. That is.
So it will understand that if you don't have it like set, but like even if you put like absolute friend, there's really not, it will be the same.
Yeah. Now I'm going to give you a real example. Okay. Where friend name equal to joy. Now you put a semicolon and press enter. Can you see that table or view doesn't exist? So what is our table name employee or friend? Friend. So we have to go all the way up. Instead of employee, we have to give friend, and then you come set friend email equal to this. You come where friend name equal to joy. Now what are we seeing? Zero rows updated. Why?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Joy doesn't exist. Actually,
Joy exists here. Can you see?
Oh, is it because you have a space between the equal sign?
Capital, the J is not capital.
So can you see joy
Oh,
is
yeah.
not capital. Now if it is inside, if it is your data, then it matters.
Okay, yes.
It matters, right?
The capital J or
Mhm. Friend name,
okay, just capital J.
because it is data, you have to make your case properly. Now, so if I have to change it, update friend, set friend email equal to this. So we want to remove Mr. We want this, right? And then, right? Now we have to change that J to uppercase J. Now one row updated, right? Is that correct? So now if you bring select statement, select star from friend, what do you see? Right? So here, what do you see? What have you changed here? We have changed data. We didn't change the table structure. Is that correct? The table still can store 20 character length. Is that correct? Okay. So that is what is DML. So what I will say for what we have learned from today's session, DML, DDL, and remember, if I do not commit, all of the change, like I have input new data in this table, will be gone. So I have to commit. This commit is the DCL, data control language. Mhm.
Insert the data to the tables. Do you know instead of just retyping, you know, they insert the way to like just use that all the values for the whole table.
So there is a way you have to write your statement in a different way, but this is, we, as a part of this course, we will be inserting data in that way. There is other programs, other command you can write, you can insert more data in the table, but for our scope, this is our scope. That is how we will be inserting data.
That's fun by me.
Yeah. Okay, so what we have learned, what you're to do from this class today is through this document and understand what we have, okay, how we update data, update the structure of the table, right? What is DDL, what is DML, what is DCL, so that in the next class, I have recorded this session. In the next class, if I ask you a question, you can answer this. And can you see the intensity? The intensity of the work is increasing. And you have, uh-huh. You go ahead.
I feel like now is the time practice is crucial.
Yep.
All the times earlier was
Yep, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let me stop this recording. And every